Hi, Dave McIntosh here as we continue our tour of Israel. Last time we visited places near Bethlehem. In this video, we are going to travel east to the Dead Sea, the Jordan River, and Jericho areas. On our way to the Dead Sea, we are going to stop in the wilderness. Now, I don't know what you think about when you hear the word desert or wilderness that we think of in the Bible. But when I think of desert, I think of endless sand dunes. When I think of wilderness, I think of a vast forested area that is totally uninhabited. But the wilderness that we see in Israel and in the Bible is quite different than I could have imagined. The only thing that is correct about that thinking is uninhabited or sparsely habited. So come on this journey, let's go. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. As we head east towards the Dead Sea, we will see some Bedouin farms along the way. Now, their farming has mostly to do with raising animals, sheep, goats, and camels. They live in tents and temporary shelters, not a lot different than how they've lived for hundreds of years. I personally don't know how they find enough food for their animals, as the land is bone dry with just a tuft of dry grass here and there. But they obviously have figured out how to do it. It must be a hard lifestyle. They shepherd their animals from place to place and in that way find enough food for the animals. We stopped at a place in the wilderness and spent less than an hour taking in both the vastness and the harshness of the wilderness. The ground is extremely hard and stony and insecure. The heat is unbearable. I don't know where they find enough water. This part of the land is unbelievable. We also stopped at Masada Monastery. We weren't allowed to go in, but we wandered around the outside of the complex. It is a huge complex, built many years ago, right in the middle of the wilderness. One difference here is that it was built along a river that through the centuries has cut a gorge into the landscape. We walked down to the river and enjoyed the views and were amazed by the whole setup. One of the reasons they like to build monasteries a long way away from populated areas is so that people there weren't distracted from their worship by the things of the world. Let's continue on now to the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is the lowest land elevation on Earth, currently 440 meters or 1,443 feet below sea level, though this level drops yearly due to water diversion efforts from the feeder rivers. It is a super salty lake, and people like to go there to float on the top of the water. You have to be careful though, because the water is so salty, it is nasty if you get a face full, and it's difficult to get your feet back under you or to balance at all. Today, there are so many people visit here every day, it looks like a resort. From there, we are going to head south a bit to Masada. Masada is steeped in history. Masada is a natural fortress and is on the top of a high plateau. It was built as a palace complex and fortress by King Herod. And it's where a group of Jewish people revolted against King Herod and chose death over submitting to his rule. They revolted against King Herod in 73 AD. The fortifications, a massive attack ramp, and that encircle the monument constitute the most complete Roman siege works surviving to the present. As a result, it is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site and an architectural site of great significance. A movie came out in 1981 about what happened on Masada. We spent some time at the top, enjoying the views and wandering through the ruins, amazed at how the place was built with all the engineering they were able to accomplish. Herod the Great was an amazing man with the structures he built around the country. But like a lot of rulers in those days, he was harsh, and all that he did was at the expense of the people he governed. From here we head north to Jericho, but before we get there, we are going to stop at the Jordan River. We were amazed by the Jordan in a different way than you might think. We live beside a river in Ontario, Canada, and again, my picture of the Jordan was pretty big, but today anyway, the Jordan is small, so small you could throw a rock across it if you wanted to. Like a lot of places in Israel and around the world, special sites have become so commercialized with hundreds of people each day visiting here. A lot of people go to this spot to be baptized in the Jordan. They want to be baptized where Jesus was baptized. I was surprised by how small it really was. And though it was quite interesting to see, we didn't stay here long. On the other side of the river is the country of Jordan. Therefore, the border was guarded by soldiers. Not far away is Jericho. And in the Bible, this is the city that the Jewish people walked around for several days, and then the walls of the city came tumbling down. We wandered around and enjoyed the visit. We stopped at the sycamore tree that Zacchaeus climbed in the middle of the city. Well, at least that is what they say. We took a cable car up to the side of the mountain to visit a part of ancient Jericho. It was amazing to me how they got up there in ancient times, and building houses and churches on the side of the mountain was just amazing to me. After coming down, we had a ride on a camel. Now this was not easy. The animal is crouched on the ground, so it's not too bad to get on it. But then when it gets to its feet, the rear legs go up first, and it felt like we were going to fall right over its head. Then, when we got up and going, it wasn't too bad, but it was not a smooth ride, though I wouldn't have missed it. We had a wonderful Palestinian meal while we were there. Lamb shish kebabs, rice, salads, pitas, and then Ishmael drove us home as our day was done. I trust you enjoyed this video, and we look forward to the next one. Next time we're going to travel to the Sea of Galilee and have a ride on the ship on the sea and travel to many of the holy sites around the Sea of Galilee and walk where Jesus walked. So I look forward to seeing you next time as we continue this tour of Israel.